Is it? Hi guys, this is a live session, so it's a live workshop. I've done loads of these live workshops and you can catch up with them on our YouTube and Instagram channel. What I'm going to cover today is we've got our gravelled lug kit, which we've just designed and we've sent loads of them out, so lots of people are building these at home. So what I thought I would do is a very quick video on some tips and tricks of how to build your frame and how to make sure that the end result is really good, really rideable and really enjoyable. So I'm just going to run through a few things to think about when you're building at home and might help you a little bit. So if you're just joining, I'm going to cover this frame here. Okay. So this is our gravel lug frame and it comes with, just to explain what this is, it comes with pre-lugged connection pieces here. So these connections here. And then what you simply do is you connect the bamboo and you machine it to fit and then it gets glued in place. So I covered this in our last live workshop. So if you want to know a bit more about this kit, have a look at our other videos. So this is our gravelled lug. So it's incredibly easy to assemble at home. It obviously comes with this jig and you've got the plan behind. And I've just set this up without the glue, so I haven't put the glue in yet, and that allows me just to test and look at everything and make sure that everything is correct. So this is all set up. The final stage of this would be to take everything apart and then re-glue it, but I'm going to talk you through some checks that you can do to make sure that everything is accurate and works well. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to cover is we've got internal cables. So there's 2 slots here and 2 slots the other side, and we've got exit points here, and then it runs external along the bottom of the chain stays. If you're planning to do internal cabling, which this frame is all designed up for, try and fit the cables before you glue the frame up. And if you don't want to fit the cables, just fit some string or fit an old cable or fit some housing. Something that's already fitted through, because it will save you a lot of time when you're fitting up your frame. So I'll just give you some examples. So I've just got a bit of old housing here, and what I would do is I would just slide this through. So slide it in here, slide it out through here, and then just have that hanging out as a long section for when you glue the frame up. So then when you go to fit the cable or housing or anything, you can just replace it with the actual one you want. So just make sure you've got some old cable at hand. It can be really laborious to try and fit everything through finally. I've also got, I think I've dropped it, just some old steel cable here. So you could use steel cable if you want. So just some examples there, and just run that through. Okay. So you can see it's hard to put through, but when the frame's apart, it's really easy. So pre-do all your cables, and then what I would advise you do is once you've done it, just take them off, get a bit of tape, and then just tape them so they don't fall out and they hold in place nicely when you glue the frame up. And that means it's going to be super, super easy to set up all your internal cabling when you finish gluing. It's much harder when you've joined everything together. And the reason why it's harder is because you've got these nodes, and there's often little ridges inside of the bamboo that make it difficult to get a cable through. You could try a magnetic kit, but this is actually the easiest way if you're building your frame from scratch. So if you're just joining us, I'm talking about this gravel lug frame, which is this frame here, and I'm just explaining some hints and tips of how to build it and common mistakes that people can make, and how to look out for them and try and not to. The other big thing that you need to think about is that all the geometry is predefined for you, so it's easy to set up, all of these are pre-made. However, there's always going to be movement in the frame, there's always going to be bits that you can move around and misalign. So be aware that there's always going to be human error when you build. So what you want to do is that the front triangle is really simple, so it's very difficult to misalign that, especially as we've got these 4 contact points that align everything around the centre. But the rear triangle, you can basically twist the frame if you force things in place. So what you want to do is you want to take either a tape measure or a ruler and you want to check some measurements. And if things don't match up, you want to adjust the frame accordingly. So, the things you must check before you glue up is that the length between this ridge of the lug and this ridge of the lug is the same. So the exposed bamboo, this length here, so I'll show you from here to here, and I'll just show you on the sharp with the Sharpie. So, oh, Sharpie's not working. Let's get that off. Okay, Sharpie, that's the thing doing live, right? Okay, so from this point here to this point here, you want to measure, okay? And you'll find the measurement on the drawing here. Yeah, so 230. So I'm almost there. And then I want to check the same on the rear one. And make sure that these two measurements match, okay? If they do not match, and if they're not both 230, you'll need to either adjust the piece within the frame, like that, as you can see, and adjust it so they match. Once they are matched and you are happy, if you have the glue inside, make sure that you then tape the bamboo in place tightly so it cannot move anymore. So once you've got the measurement, and then once you've taped it, check again, and just make sure that that measurement there matches on both seat stays. So if you're just joining us, I'm just talking you through our gravel lug kit and some hints and tips of how to build it accurately. And this is very quick. These are the most common mistakes that people will make, and this is the easiest way to make sure your frame works really well. The other thing to also check is obviously the chain stays, that you can have some movement here, and you can obviously always also twist the frame. So check this measurement. So from here to here, same on the rear, and make sure that they match. And if they don't, adjust accordingly, okay? Like so. And it's Eid here, so we've got some fireworks going on, so if you can hear them. And happy Eid to everyone, I think it was a few days ago. Okay, so you need to match these measurements, and you can see that there's a little bit of movement here, so you need to make sure that these measurements and these measurements all match for both chain stays and the seat stays. And then once you've got the measurement accurate, make sure you tape it so it can't move. The last thing you want to do is to glue the frame up, leave it overnight, and things have moved. So try and just make sure that you tape everything up, and that way you'll keep the rear triangle. The final tip is just make sure that these dropouts and everything is secure here. And the other thing, if you want to do, you can just, if you've got an old board, you can screw the jig parts directly into a board. Just use a self-tapper and a screwdriver, and you'll fit those. So that's it really for some quick hints and tips of how to build our gravel frame. If you've got any questions, please just add them to the comments. Have a look at other workshop Wednesdays, and you can see what other builds we do and other things. And if you want to have a look at this kit, I think it's a really nice one-day build at home, and you can always fit any type of component. You can have a look at our last video on this. You can see it on our website, so check it out, have a look, see what you think, let us know, and get in touch. Thanks very much for your time, and appreciate you watching. Bye for now.